Hello, welcome to RNS APR training. My name is Vithu, the business analyst at RNS. So within this tutorial, basically what we're going to review is how to complete an APR from beginning to end. If you did not watch our service requirements tutorial as well, we suggest you do because it's basically completing APR as a two-step process. You would have to complete the service plan, plus you would have to complete an APR as well. So let's get right into it. So in order to find your client, go to clients and then go to find. So in here, you'd put either the last name of the client or the first name. So in this case, we know the client's last name. And then it gives you a bunch of options. So it gives you all the clients on our system that had the last name of test. And then you basically just filter it out with the first name. So if you know the first name of the client, you obviously select RNS test and press OK. And then in the first video, what we did was we updated the service plan. So service plan would be right here. Click on orders, click on the department, nursing, and sometimes there'll be two orders. One will say schooling or one would say at home. So typically you just click on the order where you service the client. So it's either at home or at school. So in this case, there is no school order. So we know that this client gets service at home. And then in the first video, what we did was we basically updated the service plan. So see how we turned it green. So the expiry date or PD extension is going to be from March 30th to June the 28th. So make sure when we do complete the APR, we are selecting June the 28th. Okay, so that's done. So that was done in our first video. So make sure you watch the first video and then come along to the second video, which is this one. To do an APR, so what we're going to do is we're going to click on Documents. So from documents, what a lot of nurses are doing is as soon as they're in documents, they're clicking on this white piece of paper to start the APR. But just for organizational purposes, what we're going to do is we're going to click on nursing reports, and then we're going to click on the white piece of paper. That way all the APRs stay in this one particular folder. It just makes it easier to view for like our team, plus it makes it easier to view for the other nurses that are dealing with this client. So click on nursing reports and click on the white piece of paper. And then the most recent up-to-date flow sheet or APR report is Central Nursing APR 4.0. Then press OK. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do is as soon as you see this page right here is you want to click on the orders. So sometimes there will be two orders based on what I said at the beginning. Is either like a school client's receiving service at school or they're receiving service at home. So this client only has one order, so we're going to click on that. So that part is filled out. That's the date, so it automatically gets populated to the date that you're starting the APR. So there's a couple of reports that you can do, APR reports. So there's initial report, interim report, change of status, or discharge. Typically, all of them are basically the same. It's just that as soon as you press initial, there is like a separate column that you have to fill out, 1.6, which is first visit date. So when did you first visit this client? Just in this video, we're going to go over interim report because this is probably like 95% of the APRs that we send to the central LIN is an interim report. So we're asking for the client to be on service for another 90 days or 3 months. So as soon as you press interim, we're going to go to report name. So see how it's bolded out here, which means there's a drop down menu. So you don't have to you have to fill it out, but we kind of give you options to choose from. So we're going to click on shift nursing. So it's always going to be shift nursing. Report name, we're going to put what kind of report we're doing. So just write interim report. Urgency, so 1.14, it's either non-urgent or urgent. So in this case, we're always going to press non-urgent. Whether it's initial, interim, change status, or discharge, it's always going to be non-urgent. Date of report, so date of report you want to have similar or exactly the same to the general report at the top left. So we're going to click on June 8th. So this is the date that you're submitting the APR. So say if you're doing the APR today, but you don't finish it until Friday, you want to click on Friday's date. You want to change this date to Friday's date, plus you want to change this date to Friday's date. Author name, you're going to put your own name. Do not put my name, but just in this video, I'm going to put my name. Author designation, so are you an RPN or RN? In this case, I'm just going to say I'm an RPN. Is this report for communication only? So that is section 1.9. So since we're asking the case manager to extend the service for another 3 months, we are not only reporting through this APR, but we're also asking the case manager to do something with the client, which is extend the PED for another 3 months. If the PD was already extended, but it's your turn to complete an APR and you're just kind of reporting the status of the client, then this report would be for communication only. But since we're asking for an APR, we're asking for PED extension, we're going to put no. Author extension, you're going to put your extension number. I believe this was provided to you when you onboarded. So we're going to put extension, or what you can do actually is put Colette or Terica's extension number. So in this case, we're going to put Colette's extension number, which is your nursing coordinator. So let me just check her extension. It is 2247. And then for mobile, so we want our communication to go to the coordinators, and then if the coordinators need to relay a message to you, then they'll relay the message to you. So for author mobile, do not put your own personal number. We're going to put the coordinator's number. So in this case, we're going to put our office number, 841-7150. So the case manager would dial our phone number and then dial Colette's extension number. So diagnosis 1.12. So here we're going to put our client diagnosis. So the list may be long or short compared to whatever diagnosis the client has, the one that you're dealing with. So let's just say this client has diabetes. Last contact date. So last contact date is going to be the last day you actually visited the client or the last day you contacted the client, either verbally on the phone or in person. So let's just say last time we saw the client was March the 20th. 1.14 CTN, always leave it as NA, so don't even worry about that. So in order to go to the next page, you're going to click on this little blue icon. So here is your goal. So we get a lot of questions of how do you start the goals. So a lot of nurses are double clicking this little gray box, but nothing happens. So what you want to do is press this little white piece of paper on the right. So as soon as you click this white piece of paper, it creates a separate flow sheet. So we've referred to this page as a flow sheet. Okay, so like when you're looking through the documents, the one that we created, this page in particular is considered a flow sheet. So new goal. So have you started a new goal with the client, or are you continuing with the same goal? So a new goal would mean maybe you are starting suctioning with the client. So say on your last visit with the client, you started a new goal. So you started suctioning. If you haven't, so like say if you're continuing with the same goal as for when you started, you're going to press no. So you're continuously doing the same thing with the client. So all these, as you can see when you scroll down, all these boxes are grayed out, which means all of them do have a drop-down menu. So it's not a free text. You can't really write anything you want. It's basically like a long drop-down menu we give. So it kind of has a lot of options. So you can always go through that. So press no. And then just remember, you can only fill out one per flow sheet. So you can only fill out one of these options per flow sheet. If you do, like say if the client does have nursing wound and nursing pain, and like say you do want to put both of them, then you have to create a separate goal as well. So I'll show you how to do that. So let's say this client has nursing wound. Let's just say improve skin integrity. By, you're going to write your name again. So this is the second time you're writing your name. Make sure you do not write my name. Start date. So when did you start this goal with the client? So if it's not a new goal, so you obviously didn't start it on the last visit date, which I chose as March the 20th. You probably started this goal, maybe it can even be last year if you wanted. But for each client, it varies, obviously. So let's just say we started this goal June 2019, June 12th. So this is when you started the goal with the client. Update date. So update date is when we are submitting the APR. So we obviously want it to reflect the general date right here at the top. So let's just say we are submitting the APR today, which is June the 8th. So remember, this is 2020, this is 2019. So I'm saying I started this goal with the client in 2019. So don't get the dates confused. So 1.17, so is the goal in progress or is it completed? So we're always working towards a goal. So it's never going to be completed until the client is basically getting discharged. So we're always working towards our goal. So 1.17 is going to be in progress. Or you could always write complete if you are starting a new goal with the client. So this old goal was completed. So now you're moving on to a separate goal. But just in this case, we're going to put in progress. 1.18 is how far along in the goal have you come. So typically nurses do click 0.4 or 0.3, which is either greater than 50% or less than 50%. So in this case, just say we did, let's just say we did greater than 50%. And then as soon as you are done this goal, make sure you press complete. Do not press save and close. Make sure you press complete, and then it will basically save this flow sheet. So press complete. So if you did want to select one of those different options, you can always create a second goal as well by clicking on this white piece of paper and then do basically the same thing, but click on a different option instead of nursing wound. So click on a different option if the client did have two goals. So that is basically done. In order to go to the next page, press the right button again. So this is asking where is the service currently being provided? So it's obviously going to be in the home. Is the patient appropriate for clinic? No. And the reason why, so they're asking the reason why the client should stay at home versus in a clinic. So we're just going to say client should stay at home for moral support from the family. So you're going to keep it short, just mention that. Then you're going to go to, or whatever reason you think the client should stay at home, you could always put that as well. So this is just an example that I provided. Page 4, it's who did you discuss the teaching plan with? So if the client maybe was a 3-year-old child, then you're not discussing the teaching plan with the patient itself. You're probably explaining everything to like their parents or whoever is in charge of taking care of the client. So we're going to put caregiver. There is other options. So if you write NA, like you didn't discuss anything with the client, then press NA. If it's other, then usually provide a drop-down box of who that other is. So make sure you have to fill that out if you do select that option. And yeah, you can click on multiple if you wanted. So you can click on patient and caregiver. But in this case, let's just say we discussed it with the caregiver. Teaching materials provided. So typically the physiotherapists are the ones who will recommend equipment to the client. So nursing is nurses can recommend equipment, but it's highly unlikely that they do. So we're just going to press on no. But say if you did recommend equipment, then you could always write yes, and then they're asked what type of equipment did you recommend. So it's not like you can't press yes, but typically it's usually no. Okay, so that's done. Page 5. So page 5 this is where a lot of people get confused as well. So 5.1, you only click on included if it's a discharge report. So as soon as you click on discharge report, you get a bunch of options that you have to fill out, but it's highly unlikely, or it's basically probably like a 2% chance you'll do a discharge report. So 95% of the time is we do PED extensions. So we'll focus on the PED extension. And anytime you do need us to kind of provide you the information, you can always look through the guidelines that we provide you to know which options or which dates to choose from. Anytime you are confused, you can always refer to this little question box. Like each of the boxes or most of the boxes have this little blue question mark. So as soon as you click that, it kind of gives you a description of what date you're supposed to click or where to find that information. So feel free to click on these boxes anytime you're lost. So frequency updates. So we're basically asking for a PED extension. So we are requesting for a frequency update. Frequency changes made. Click on yes as well. Provider end date. So remember how at the beginning of the APR video, I basically went into the service plan and I checked what date we chose as a PED extension. So we chose June the 28th, which is a Sunday. So you always want to do it within 30 days. Within 90 days. So you always want to do the Sunday within 90 days. So we're going to click on the same date that we chose in the service plan, which is June the 28th. So always